Welcome to the Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappers, and today we're dissecting the Clintons. It's going to be a great show. Remember this: he raped them. He raped them, and she ruined their lives. That's presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump on the disgusting history of Bill and Hillary Clinton. Hillary's response? I have no response. And that's about right. Hillary famously said all rape victims deserve to be believed. That is, except for Juanita Broderick, except for Jennifer Flowers, except for Kathleen Willey, and except for Paula Jones. These are women who say Bill Clinton raped them with nearly identical stories. They describe his genitalia the same way. They describe his flushed red face the same way. They describe his love for biting their lip, one almost until it was bit through, with excruciatingly similar detail. We all know politicians are crooks, but this takes it to a new, darker level. Hillary Clinton, who claims to represent women in almost every public appearance she makes, undertook a campaign of intimidation, fear tactics, media manipulation, and outright lies to mitigate the impact these women would have on her husband's career, and by extension her own. The Honest Media was even told by a former member of Bill Clinton's security detail that the two were separated when these allegations and the famous Monica Lewinsky case were in the public's eye. It's well known that Hillary has been expecting her turn in the White House since Bill Clinton's first months of his first term, so the two stayed married for purely political reasons. Hillary Clinton is a great, great liar. She began her career as a lawyer, defending the alleged rapist of a 12-year-old girl. Her defense included a psychologist who suggested young women, in this case a barely pubescent girl, sometimes have mixed feelings about sex and their partner. In other words, she wasn't raped, she was confused. The man received a year in prison and 4 years probation. In the same time period, Bill Clinton left the Rhodes Scholar Program, later claiming he received a better offer from another school. He neglected to mention that Rhodes Scholars almost always graduate, or if they do leave the program, it is generally for extreme medical circumstances or death. Bill Clinton left after raping a fellow student. This is the first known instance of his sexual abuse, but certainly not the last. The two were a match made in heaven. A woman who legally protected rapists matched with a charismatic rapist with political ambitions. The women, Bill's victims, were intimidated using mafia-style tactics. According to Roger Stone's The Clintons' War on Women, victims had their family pets killed, their children threatened, and their livelihoods destroyed as part of the Clintons' campaign of fear tactics, intimidation, and character assassination spearheaded by Hillary Clinton. Today we'll examine these rape cases. We'll also tell you about the times Bill Clinton abandoned his Secret Service detail to take a trip to the private island owned by Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted pedophile. Aboard his private plane, the Lolita Express. You do not want to miss this episode of The Honest Media. Stay tuned. I'm Tom Pappers, and I'll be right back with my co-host, Craig Chrysler. Welcome to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappers. Now, we're going to start, I think, by examining Hillary Clinton's history. And this is from her 1975 Arkansas rape case, where the accused attacker was successfully defended by Hillary Clinton. And this is from Politico. She's speaking for the first time under condition of anonymity because, we both know what happens when you go up against the Clintons. You wind up dead.
Yes.
Or your cat does, or your kids end up threatened, or people find you on the street and they say, hey, how your kids doing? You're in danger.
Bad stuff happens.
Bad stuff happens to people who go
Planes
against...
blow up, all sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah. The Clintons are very scary people to cross.
They are.
The victim, whose name has been withheld by the media, spoke with the Daily Beast. The man who raped her pleaded for a lesser charge, with reduced sentence for time served. There was never a charge against a second subject believed to have taken part in the crime. And the victim says this: Hillary Clinton took me through hell. I would say to Hillary, you took a case of mine in 75. You lied on me. I realize the truth now, the heart of what you've done to me. And you're supposed to be for women? You call that being for women? What you done to me? And I hear you on tape laughing. Clinton wrote about the case briefly in her memoir, Living Criminal History. Noting she later established Arkansas's first rape hotline. So she defends a rapist and then she makes up for it by creating the rape hotline.
Ridiculous.
I had him take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs, Clinton said with a laugh in one exchange.
Yeah.
So she knows, she basically admits that the guy's guilty.
Yeah.
But, she was just doing her job. And people make the case, and I guess rightfully so. She was a court-appointed lawyer. She couldn't exactly just go and say, this guy's bad and I'm not doing the case. But
she could have refused the case.
Well, could they?
She took it on a favor.
Oh, really?
She later said, yeah.
Really?
A favor to the judge.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
She could have. So she could. This isn't like a court-appointed lawyer where they have to do the case.
No. Yeah. She took it on a favor.
On a favor to the judge.
Uh-huh.
So the Clintons have been connected since day one, in other words.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like around the same time when she was taken off the Whitewater case. Or the Watergate case. Because, it's just, well, we can't have this crazy woman on there. She's immoral. She's corrupt. Who knows what she'll end up doing. She'll get our case thrown out, and we'll have a President Nixon for another several years. And these are the same type of intimidation tactics. I mean, it just shows she's been doing this since 1975.
Yeah.
So, when Juanita Broderick, the most famous rape victim of Bill Clinton, says that she was intimidated, that she was threatened, we have, good reason to believe it. She's a pro. She's been doing this professionally since the 70s. It's 45 years of rape. And this is Juanita Broderick in her first media appearance in nearly a decade from Breitbart. I think she, Hillary Clinton, has always known everything about him. I think they have this evil compact between the two of them, that they each know each other and what the other does and overlook it, and go right on and cover one for the other. Broderick said she almost died 2 months ago when she saw a Clinton campaign ad in which Hillary insisted all women must be sided with if they accuse men of sexual assault. And that is the most hypocritical thing. She was talking about, and you and I both think it's a crock. These college campus rape cases, where now if a woman has a drink, all of a sudden she's incapable to making a decision.
Yeah.
Or if a woman has sex and later she decides she didn't like it, then it's rape after the fact.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
You have the right to be heard. You have the right to be believed. We're with you, Clinton said, which addressed every survivor of sexual assault. And Broderick responded, the only thing I would like to say is I hope someday these people that I feel like are so evil, will be brought to justice. And if I can help in that, I will. But these are not good people for America. And she was raped in, 78? Yeah, 1978, during Bill Clinton's gubernatorial bid, when he was wanted to be the governor of Arkansas so he could start running drugs.
Yeah.
Gotta subsidize his habit somehow. She said Clinton singled her out during a campaign stop at her nursing home. This is a registered nurse, Juanita Broderick. He would just sort of insinuate, when you're in Little Rock, let's get together. Let's talk about the industry. Let's talk about the needs of nursing homes. And I was very excited about that. So on the face, that seems normal, right?
Yeah.
That's what politicians do.
Yeah, come on down, we'll talk, see what we can do.
They talk to their constituents.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We get people in the station all the time. We talk to our general manager. We've had Huelskamp. We've had Pompeo. That's what you do as a person running for office or a person in office. You talk to your constituents.
Yep.
Broderick said she finally took Clinton up on that offer in the spring of '78, when they traveled to Little Rock for an industry convention along with her friend and nursing employee, Norma Rogers. The two shared a room at the city's Camelot Hotel. Now, one thing that immediately, as a woman, you have to wonder if she thought something was up. Because Bill Clinton said, well, call my office. He had actually call his personal line. And it went to a secretary, and the secretary said, oh, okay, I'll let him know. And then the secretary gave her his apartment phone number.
Yeah, his private apartment.
Private apartment.
Yeah.
We don't have Mike Pompeo's private line.
Yeah.
I called his...
Why does he have a private apartment when he's living at the governor mansion?
Oh, no, this is before.
Oh,
this is I think he's still running, because it's spring
okay.
of '78. I called his apartment, and he answered. And he said, well, why don't we meet at the Camelot Hotel coffee room, and we can get together and talk. And she said, that would be fine. Clinton then changed the meeting location. She says, he called my room, which he said he would do when he got to the coffee shop. And he said, there are too many people down here. It's too crowded. There's reporters. Can we just meet in your room?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, and it sort of took me back a little bit. But I did say, okay, I'll order the coffee to the room, which I did, and that's when things sort of got out of hand. And it was very unexpected. It was, you might even say, brutal, with the biting of my lip. And in this recent appearance, she didn't want to go into the details.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't blame her, because, she's 73 now.
Yeah.
She's 73, and she says that, it's been 30 years since Bill raped me, and the pain never goes away.
Yeah. Did his trademark move on her, the lip bite.
That's right. He did that to almost every victim who has come out publicly and said. The one woman, who we'll bring up in possibly the next segment, was paid, $850,000?
$850,000.
And she said, well, yes, he bit my lip. Yes, he almost bit it through, but it was consensual. It was just really rough.
Yeah.
Because, when you've got $850,000, I guess you can afford all the therapy you need to get over it.
Yeah.
When we'll be back after these messages, we'll go into the gory details. Welcome back to The Honest Media. Today, we're dissecting Bill Clinton's rapes and his sexual abuse. And these are the details of Juanita Broderick's rape, as discussed in the 1999 Dateline interview. Then he tries to kiss me again. And the second time he tries to kiss me, he starts biting my lip. He starts to bite on my top lip. And I tried to pull away from him. And then he forces me down on the bed. And I was just very frightened. And I tried to get away from him, and I told him no, that I didn't want this to happen. But he wouldn't listen to me. It was a real panicky situation. I was even to the point where I was getting very noisy, yelling to please stop. And that's when he pressed down on my right shoulder, and he would bite my lip. When everything was over with, he got up, and he straightened himself, and I was crying at the moment, and he walks to the door, and he calmly put on his sunglasses, and before he goes out the door, he says, you better get some ice on that. And he turned, and I went out the door.
Ridiculous.
Now, it would be one thing if this was just an isolated incident, but it's nowhere near an isolated incident. There's 6 different women who still, some have been paid off, some have been bought off, some have been intimidated into silence. But there's still 6 women out there who maintain, yes, Bill Clinton raped me or sexually harassed me.
I thought it was up to 17.
17 total harassment victims or extramarital affairs. Which you can say what you want about that. We both come from a libertarian background. So, sure, fine, if you want to have sex. I think that once you're in the contract of marriage, which is a covenant, and you promised your spouse that you're not going to do that, I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
But...
Which he had 4 known about affairs that everybody knew about and was completely fine with?
Known about, yes, but we're talking...
Hillary's completely fine with it.
Well, Hillary has her own affairs, according to some.
Oh, yeah.
I think Roger Stone is right. I think Uma Aberdeen... I think she's been sent, probably by a foreign government, to keep Hillary Clinton happy so they can get whatever they want.
Doesn't she have ties with the Saudis?
She does. Yeah. She absolutely does. And her parents, are strict radical Muslims who have ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, I believe.
Oh, nice.
But you talk about affairs. Monica Lewinsky is the famous one. Elizabeth Ward Grayson is another. Connie Hamsey is another. Jennifer Flowers is another. Dolly Kyle Browning is another. Sally Millie Perdue is another. And Lincola Sullivan is another. These are the ones we know about. Bill Clinton once, when hearing about an athlete's sexual prowess, the man, I'm not going to even say his name, who said he bedded 20,000 women over his life. Bill once publicly quipped, "Wow, I only got 1/10 of that." So, call it extramarital affairs.
So, 200.
Yeah, I only had 2, and that's probably the ones he kept track of.
Yeah. So, if he's known about raping at least 6 women, I don't know statistics, but most of them never say anything, so we can imagine that it's probably upwards to 100.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And not counting the many statutory rapes on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't
Who
even...
knows what went on there?
Nobody knows except the poor women
Probably
themselves.
Had boxes of cigars.
He used them as his own personal humidors. That's right.
God.
This is from Heavy.com. Eileen Wellstone was a 19-year-old woman Clinton is alleged to have met at a pub while he was a student at Oxford University. So this is after he got kicked out of the Rhodes Scholar program for raping.
Yeah.
Of course, that's been buried under the rug, but we now know it's true.
Serial rapist.
Now, the State Department employee said he spoke with the girl's family and they declined to pursue the case. This is in 1969. So you've got to wonder what kind of pull Bill Clinton had way back then to be able to silence this woman. Because she then later said, well, okay, it was consensual, after wanting to press the charge. Sandra Allen James is another rape victim. She's a former Washington, D.C. political, or not rape victim, but sexual assault victim, I believe. She was a political fundraiser, and in 1999, she told Capitol Hill Blue that she had been sexually assaulted by Clinton in 1991. She said, notice there's similarities here. She said she was invited to his hotel room during his presidential campaign. She claims he pinned her against the wall and stuck his hand up her dress. She says she screamed loud enough for the Arkansas state trooper stationed outside the hotel suite to bang on the door and ask if everything was all right, at which point Clinton released her and fled the room. When she reported the incident to her boss, he advised her to keep her mouth shut if she wanted to keep working.
Jesus.
So, hotel room, pinned the woman against the wall. I guess luckily for her that there were police there, neutral parties who couldn't be kept. We say neutral, but Secret Service apparently isn't so neutral on this.
No.
We could jump right into the Jeffrey Epstein case. Just like Bill Clinton jumped aboard disgraced sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express plane for junkets 26 times in just 3 years. And this is from the Daily Mail. Flight logs reviewed by Fox News show Clinton took 26 trips aboard Epstein's Boeing 727 jets. Epstein's jet was reportedly set up with a bed where guests had group sex with young girls. One of them, Virginia Guthrie, has claimed she was lured into joining Epstein's harem when she was just 15 years old. The former teen prostitute says she was used as a sex slave. Roberts, now 32, claimed she saw Clinton in 2002 on Epstein's junket to St. Thomas, his private island where he kept his harem and he entertained politicians, businessmen, heads of states.
They're all into that stuff.
Well,
Lots of them.
Except for Donald Trump. When he was invited to one of his parties and he saw the young girls playing in the pool out front, he reportedly said to his driver, "Oh, look at that. That's so nice of Jeffrey. He lets the neighborhood girls use his pool." Then when Trump went inside and saw what was actually happening, he stayed for about 5 minutes and made an excuse to leave.
And didn't he ban him from his casino?
I believe so.
Yep.
And can you blame him? I wouldn't want this sick SOB anywhere near me. Flight logs filed with the Federal Aviation Administration show Clinton brought at least 10 Secret Service people with him on some of his ordeals.
Jesus.
They must have been complicit.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
Except for the one who wrote the book, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, don't you remember them Secret Service guys getting in trouble a few years ago for all that prostitution?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Somewhere in Europe.
They abused taxpayer funds to buy prostitutes and have extreme sex parties.
Yeah.
Well, they were only emulating what the top did. A journey to Asia in 2002 didn't list any Secret Service protection. As a former president, Clinton still gets a taxpayer-funded security detail for life. So, you gotta wonder exactly what was going on where Clinton said, no, my free security. You guys stay behind. This one's just for me.
God, yeah, who knows? Asia, anything goes there, so.
Well, and on the private airplane, who knows?
Yeah. All the dead bodies, everything else.
We shouldn't laugh, but it's hilarious to imagine this man being
disgusting.
our first lady.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more about Epstein and Clinton in the next segment. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappers. And today we're running the Clintons through the ringer on all of Bill's sexual escapades, sexual assaults, and rapes. And we're going to continue with Jeffrey Epstein for a minute because this is important. He's a convicted pedophile. He didn't get to serve what a normal pedophile would serve because he was extremely well connected to both the Bush and Clinton administrations. Court documents have now been permanently sealed under a gag order because, when you're rich, you can get by with these kind of things, apparently, in the United States. But Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting a minor for prostitution in 2008. This is the one thing they got him on. And this is the only reason why we know about him at all.
Yeah.
And served just 18 months in jail for the offense. 18 months. And from my understanding, it was part of a plea deal. And when a plea deal is signed, the prosecution is supposed to go to the victims and their lawyer and say, so here's what we're kind of putting on the table. What do you think? Will this be okay with you? Do you accept this plea? Never happened. Because if it did, they wouldn't, no rape victim in the world is going to say, well, all right, yeah, I guess my rapist, 18 months, that's fine. The other damning part about this is when you hear rapist of a minor, I think maximum security prison. Probably going to get shanked by another inmate, and that'll be the end of the story.
Yeah.
Not Epstein.
10, 20 years.
Right, minimum. Not Epstein.
Yeah.
18 months. He served from 10 o'clock at night till 8:30 in the morning in a jail, not a prison, at a part of the jail where his private, luxurious 5-star meals could be delivered to him.
Oh, Jesus.
Which means he effectively served no punishment.
Yeah.
He left his limo at night to get in. He got back into his limo the next day. End of story.
Oh, really?
I'm sure,
Yeah, probably.
Somebody like that does not pay what we would pay.
Disgraceful.
Again from the Daily Mail. Tales of orgies and young girls being shipped to Epstein's island, called Little St. James, have been revealed as part of a now ongoing lawsuit between Epstein and his former lawyers Scott Rothstein and Bradley Edwards. Flight logs pinpoint Clinton's trips on Epstein's jet between the years 2002 and 2005, when he was working on his philanthropic post-presidential career and while his wife Hillary was a senator for their adopted state of Florida. And this is one of the women who has testified. I remember asking Jeffrey, what's Bill Clinton doing here for this kind of thing? And he laughed it off and said, well, he owes me a favor. What kind of favor does Bill Clinton owe a convicted pedophile, do you think?
Yeah, we can only imagine, huh?
I choose not to imagine.
At his little private sex island.
At his private sex island.
With nothing but minors there.
Now, to be fair, there is no flight log showing this. And we would think that, well, there would be. But, like, we know Bill Clinton has been on the jet 26 times.
Yeah.
To me, it's not beyond the stretch of imagination that one of these times he managed to evade the system, being a former president.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Clinton's connection to Epstein, who worked as a financier and education philanthropist before more than 40 women came forward with claims about him being a sexual predator, has been long established. But the Inquirer also tells how the former president was also friends with some of Epstein's seedy acquaintances. The lawsuit claims that Clinton was friends with an unnamed woman who kept images of underage children on her computer, helped to recruit underage children for Epstein, and photographed underage females in sexually explicit poses. While Bill cut off ties with Epstein, this young woman's abuses apparently did not end their relationship, as she was reportedly one of the 400 guests at Chelsea Clinton's 2010 wedding.
Disgusting.
Where is the media on this? We hear 1,000 times a day, did you know Donald Trump was did you know that Hillary Clinton was at Donald Trump's wedding? But where's the media talking about the pedophile with child porn on her computer showing up to Kelsey's wedding 6 years ago?
Yeah, apparently the Clinton News Network doesn't want to air that story.
Well, you mentioned the Clinton News Network.
Aired on anybody's story channel.
Nobody. Well, I'll tell you why. Because Roger...
No mainstream channels, anyway.
Roger Stone, the only one who will talk about this, has been banned from CNN.
Yeah.
According to him, on the orders of Hillary Clinton. These are tweets from Roger Stone, the man who wrote The Clintons' War on Women, where much of this information was researched, compiled, and published to the public. Roger Stone writes, a cable news network that folds on the demands of the Clintonistas, who not to interview is not an unbiased news organization. Funny, seems the Clintons have ordered CNN not to interview me in the future because I am not PC, #censorship. Want to see what the CNN is really upset about? ClintonsWar.com, sending people to the Clintons' War on Women. My exposing Bill Clinton's serial rapes and Hillary's bullying his victims seems to have got under @David Brock DC's skin. And this is Ann Coulter, who has been attacked by CNN's Rick Wilson, who still frequently goes on. Ann Coulter writes, but Rick Wilson, who uses Twitter to ask me about anal sex with Trump, is still an honored guest at CNN. And this is true. Ann Coulter tweeted something at Rick Wilson in her typical fashion. She's a little provocative, not nearly as much as I like, but she's a good writer. She's an intelligent person. And Rick Wilson tweets back, how much does Trump pay you for anal sex?
Jeez.
That guy is still welcome on the Clinton News Network.
Yeah, and he said the only way to stop Trump was to put a bullet in him.
That's right, that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he's still welcome on there.
Oh, yeah. Because he's not talking about Bill Clinton raping potentially dozens and dozens and dozens of women.
That's right.
And Hillary covering it up for him.
And Paul Joseph Watson, this all came from InfoWars. Paul Joseph Watson writes, it appears that CNN may have taken advantage of Stone's profane tweets and used them as an excuse to get the former Trump advisor off the air because he has proven to be such an effective cheerleader for the Donalds campaign and is causing damage to Hillary's political aspirations.
Well, of course, that's why they did it.
But again, Rick Wilson's fine. People who say Donald Trump should be shot in public are fine.
Yeah. They keep their Twitter accounts up, Facebook pages up,
No.
can go on TV.
That's right.
Yeah.
What is this cabal? I mean, it's media, it's the Clintons. Do you think it all ties into a shared interest in globalism?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
What does the media have to gain from globalism?
Well, they're owned by people that profit
I suppose
hugely off whatever their programs are, you know.
I suppose that's a valid point. We'll be right back, where we'll discuss more of the Clintons, more of their shared interests, and more of these disgusting accusations after the break. Welcome back to The Honest Media. We're dissecting the Clintons, and now we're dissecting the dishonest media. I was thinking, as we ended the last break, we talked about, why do the media do this? What are they getting out of it? And then I remembered. Our very own Newsmax, which if you're watching this on Thursday night, you're watching this on Newsmax. Newsmax, one of their head editors, donated to the Clinton Foundation. And then, because the Clinton Foundation is really responsible to nobody, they self-report their donations. It was on their website for many years. Once the presidential campaign started, and they did the next batch of who donated to us, they took them off the website.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe these people know that Hillary Clinton will scratch their back once they're in office. And,
Oh, yeah. Scratch my back and scratch yours.
and who's to say the Clinton News Network, CNN, probably the same exact story, same exact song and dance, because the Clinton Foundation is totally unaccountable.
Yeah.
You know, you want government toppled? Well, donate to the Clinton Foundation. You want an arms contract? Well, pay Bill Clinton $600,000 to do a speech.
Yeah. Isn't that how all these politicians work? I scratch your back.
But nobody's
Scratch
better
yours.
at it than the Clintons.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like Donald Trump says, they have it down to an art.
They do.
They've been doing it since probably the early 90s.
Yeah, they were before.
That's true.
Yeah. They are by far the most crooked crime family in America.
Possibly in the world. I mean, who could...
Yeah.
Maybe the Saudi royals?
They're... At least they're open about stuff they do, to a degree. Well,
That's true. We saw them march into the White House, into Obama's White House last week.
Yeah, they ran in there.
Literally.
There,
Sprinted in almost. As fast as you can sprint in their giant dress they wear.
Yeah.
But for a meeting that was kept completely private with no media. And the next day, law enforcement announced that they would be releasing some of the transcript to Omar Mateen, the terrorist in Orlando, the 911 call. But they would purposely leave out the parts where he pledged loyalty to ISIS, said what his motives were.
Yeah, they left it out today. They re-released it with the parts where he was pledging.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they got so much crap
backlash for it.
Yep.
See, I was sort of imagining, and this is all a little bit conspiratorial, but not that hard to believe if you look at it in the context of Saudi Arabia meets this day. Next day, they decide this is how it's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Saudis said, well, we don't want you to put these parts out.
Well, yeah. Who knows what happened in there? It's a secret meeting.
No, that's right. But
Is
that gives
even legal?
Oh, I'm sure it is if heads of state want to meet without media. But when they do that, they allow media people like us to speculate and to wonder and to connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected.
And when you're running in there trying to be all secretive about it, that doesn't look good either.
That's right. They're out of the limo being pushed in by Secret Service as fast as possible. Cameras can barely keep up with what's happening.
Yeah. Now, you got to kiss the Saudis' butt for some reason.
Well, because they
Well,
donate
lots
all
of
the money.
reasons,
They
yeah.
donate all the money to the campaigns. Hillary Clinton has received $250 million from Middle Eastern countries. These are countries where gays are thrown out of buildings, where women aren't allowed to vote, drive, get an education, or go out in public without a man.
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton again.
They stone women to death.
They stone in
rip them apart
for rape victims.
Yeah.
Women who are raped. They don't blame the rapist in these Middle Eastern countries. In Saudi Arabia, they blame the woman for being unfaithful.
And then kill them.
And then kill them.
Yeah.
or punish them in an equally severe way. We're talking lashings.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking being chained. We're talking disgusting human rights abuses.
And where are all the feminist groups on this?
That's right. Where are
Nowhere.
they have their heads in the sand.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton toppled Gaddafi's regime.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say what you want about Gaddafi. He was not a democratically elected leader. He was not a philanthropist. Then again, we know what philanthropists are about now. Jeffrey Epstein. But women could vote in his country.
Yeah.
Women could drive in his country. Women could own property in his country.
It was the most prosperous country in Africa.
Now that the
They paid you to go to school. They paid you to have kids. I've seen the list. I mean, place looked awesome to live in, actually.
If you're going to live in Africa,
Yeah.
you would want to live in pre-Hillary Clinton Libya.
I think gallon of gas was like literally a few cents there.
Yeah, because Gaddafi had his own refineries. He ran the whole place like a business. He was clearly a crooked person, but when you're talking in the scope of the world,
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not
you
as
know why
crooked
they
as the
really took
Clintons.
him out, don't you?
Why?
Well, he's getting ready to come out with a gold currency for all of Africa. And that would have made that continent the wealthiest, richest place on earth. And as soon as he announced that, which he was literally hanging out with Obama in the White House a month before, taking pictures, we're good buddies, you know. I'm sure you've seen it. He announced that they were going to do that. Oh, here we come.
That's true.
Bombs are coming in.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
But it was Hillary Clinton's State Department that decided to do this.
Yeah.
And now look at Libya.
Mm-hmm.
Women can be beheaded for infidelity, for being raped. That's infidelity.
Now it's a total...
It's a Sharia regime with a Muslim Brotherhood in power.
Yeah.
And not only that, Gaddafi said many, many, many times, if you take, because I'm guessing he saw the laser precision of the United States government pointing on his forehead. So he went out publicly and said, I'm holding back the endless waves of African migrants. They don't get through Libya.
Yeah.
You take me out, they're going to Europe.
Yeah.
Well, we're a couple years without Gaddafi in power. Libya is still a smoking cratered mess. No real government. I believe they have Tripoli and a little bit of the surrounding area secured. The rest is owned by various rivaling tribes who don't care about borders. The people are fleeing. They're not fleeing into other Middle Eastern states. Saudi Arabia won't take refugees.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia don't take 0 refugees.
But they say they do. They say they've taken no. They say they've taken 100,000.
Oh, really?
They have no proof of this. They have housing for upwards of 1 million people readily available for the Hajj, the trip to Mecca to do the holy pilgrimage. But they don't make it available.
Nope. Saudis ain't taking nobody in. They ain't stupid.
No, you've got that right.
Yeah.
They've been funding this whole
The
cabal.
heart of the deal, they ain't stupid. Trump in there makes some deals.
Well, Trump will force them to. Trump will end the corruption. Trump will make them do what they should be doing on the
It's hard to go
international
against
stage.
the Saudis when we tied the dollar to their oil, though.
Well, that's true.
That's
But
a whole different story.
Trump has been talking about OPEC since at least 2000. And Saudi, the oil-producing Middle Eastern countries, OPEC.
Which, from my understanding, we can make enough oil in this country we don't need to even buy it from anyone
Exactly.
anymore.
And we're almost to that point now. If
Yeah.
we keep going on that road, the Saudis will have no real purpose unless they keep buying politicians with $250 million in Clinton Foundation
What do
and
they
campaign
make,
contributions.
Several $1 billion a day they bring in.
They were. Now it's about half that because oil's gone down.
Yeah.
But still, they're one of the most rich families in the world.
Well, they went on TV, the prince or king or whatever idiot they got the other day, and said that oil's going to be going back up.
Well, because they control so much of the market.
Yeah.
That's true. We'll be right back with our final segment as we continue to dissect the Clintons. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Papperts, and today we're doing whatever we can to destroy the Clintons before they destroy our country. What's the difference between Bill Cosby and Bill Clinton?
One sells Jell-O, the other sells lies.
That was good. That was good. Well, really, one's black and one's white.
Yeah.
And because one's black, the liberal media, which are allegedly champions of equality, tears him apart for his alleged rapes.
Oh, yeah.
Every civil case, every new feature, it was front page news before the Clintons entered the race.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the Clintons are in the race, all of a sudden nobody wants to hear about Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's painfully obvious that it's because if you're going to talk about one Bill, you have to talk about the other Bill.
Mm-hmm.
What do they say about Bill Cosby? All these rape victims keep coming out. Well, when it was just one woman or two women, you can believe that maybe it's character assassination or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's 15, 16, 30 women, well, they have to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that say about Bill Clinton's 17 women?
Yeah.
They're all liars.
Mm-hmm.
They're all bimbos. They're all whores, according to Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm. Yep, can't talk about it now.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Joe Scarborough, who used to be a pretty entertaining guy, Morning Joe, before MSNBC executives began to be worried that he was giving too much fair coverage. They called it friendly coverage. Too much fair coverage to Donald Trump. For those who don't know, Joe Scarborough has been to Mar-a-Lago. He's been photographed with Trump. They've been friends for years. But now that Trump is a politician, for exactly 12 months, a little over 12 months, Joe is not allowed to like him anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
NBC's Joe Scarborough says you can't talk about Bill Clinton or Bill Cosby without talking about Bill Clinton. I am fascinated to hear why comparing Bill Clinton to Bill Cosby is wrong, the Morning Joe host said. He added, I wonder how the public looks at Bill Cosby and says, this beloved man who changed American culture as much as any entertainment figure in our lifetime is going to have to be accountable for the way he treated women behind closed doors. How does a public that has come to that conclusion say the Bill Clinton stuff is okay?
They don't. They're just not allowed to talk about it, so
I guess that's what it
it's
is.
not a subject.
Well, the other thing that people like to say is, well, it was all in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. America's already heard about it. Mm-hmm. People our age weren't, I don't know about you, but I was not aware in 1999.
No, just a few of them, not the 17. Of course, you knew about Monica Lewinsky, and then the...
which was consensual. It was infidelity. It
wasn't a rape case, yeah.
It was infidelity. It was in the White House. And he lied about it under oath.
Yeah.
That's...
Which got him impeached.
Well, they got him impeached in the House or the Senate? And then he resigned.
It didn't make any difference. He still ran his whole presidency out.
Right. Which he should have been impeached.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did was disgusting. He lied under oath.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what the Clintons do, like he said in the opening minutes.
Yeah.
One sells
They're
Jell-O,
professional liars.
one sells lies.
Yeah. They are professional liars. Anybody who believes Hillary Clinton, after knowing even a quarter of the stuff she's done for the past 20 years, is just a total idiot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to say. But
well, and maybe they're still in the Bill Clinton fan club. We talked about this a little bit last week. Bill Clinton used to be kind of a sex magnet before any of this.
Saxophone playing.
Exactly. Gets on the Tonight Show, plays that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Because that's not talked about nearly enough.
Yeah.
And you know more about it than me, so take it away.
Well, talking about when he was the governor of Arkansas and using the Mina airfield in conjunction with the CIA to traffic tons of cocaine and arms, dealing with the whole Iran-Contra deal.
And it was, a college buddy who approached him, right? Because they tried several different governors, because they had to get some way to do it, because a law had been passed that made it so the United States government couldn't just finance it with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
So they had to sell drugs and use that profit to then finance the Contra affairs.
Brought all the cocaine into the country, which started the cocaine crack epidemic, which destroyed the black community. But Bill Clinton loves the black community so much that he gave him crack.
Well, you know what Hillary Clinton says.
What's that?
When asked how she planned to win the election, well, we're just going to have to go after blacks and browns. Now, if Donald
Does that mean
Trump...
they're going to bring more coke into the country again?
Get them all so stoned that they can't see what's up. Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's what happened the first time.
Yeah, I think it is.
20 years of course, that's one thing people like to say about Bill Clinton, and I think there may be something to it. Mm-hmm. We did the math. 200 plus women. Who knows how many more? I'm guessing he's not the best mathematician.
Yeah.
Years of alleged drug abuse, because that's part of it.
That was widely known back in the day that he was a coke addict.
Right.
Talked about by numerous people.
Right. Well, and you see him on the news today. You see him whenever Hillary rolls him out of his coffin and
Looks
onto
like
the campaign.
death.
He does. He looks terrible.
After deleting 30,000 emails, you look like crap too. That takes forever.
That's the meme, a picture of Bill Clinton where he looks...
Yeah.
When
looks
your
like a
wife makes you
skeleton.
delete 30,000 emails in one night.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you gotta wonder. And not only
All that child raping and coke snorting and lying.
and being abused by your wife.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is a known domestic
that's right,
abuser.
yeah.
She would throw things, she would bite, she would scratch, she would screech, she would smack. Bill Clinton was once rushed to an emergency room for a mixture between drugs and domestic abuse, and Hillary Clinton found every single nurse and doctor who was on staff and said, if you let this get out, your career is done.
Jesus. Was that when he was in the White House?
I believe this is when he was governor.
Oh, really?
Governor, yes.
She's a maniac, dude. They're both maniacs.
And there was one time when Hillary Clinton scratched him so bad that somebody noticed it in a press conference, scratched him on the face. And they said, I cut myself shaving.
Yeah.
Scratch. I don't know, my razor doesn't do that.
They were probably in one of their drug-fueled sex orgies, and she got upset.
I doubt there was much of that. Unless you're talking they slept in two separate beds with...
Well, no, she likes the women too, so
Well-
from what I heard, they used to have quite the party scene back in the 70s and stuff.
And that's part of what is so frightening about Yuma Aberdeen, her number one confidant. And I think we need to talk about that next week. We need to talk about exactly what is going on.
Who sleeps with her in her hotel room every night.
Right, who sleeps in the same room. And before she was even on the White House, on the Clinton payroll, she bragged in an interview that she hated to wear the same handbag more than 2 days in a row. And the one that she was being interviewed about was a $1,500 handbag, $1,500 purse. She wouldn't wear it more than 2 days in a row. Meaning, this woman had a payroll from somewhere to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, I think Roger Stone may be completely right when he says that she is probably a Saudi asset. She's infiltrated the United States government. And the people who say that, no, this is McCarthyism, this is wrong, they're traitors for refusing to look at the obvious.
Yeah.
You've got a drug addict and a domestic abuser who hates women, as we've established today.
Is that Hillary or Bill? That's both.
Well, Bill loves women.
Yeah.
He doesn't cherish women, but I think it's safe to say, of course, I guess we're making the case that they both love women a little bit more than the average man.
Yeah.
I can't wait till next week. We're going to have to keep going on this because we've spent an entire 40 minutes and we've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But the Clintons are so disgusting, we could spend 40 hours
We could.
and we'll never finish it.
Nope.
They're evil people.
They are the pure evil.
And we could dedicate every show from now until November on them and still not be done.
Nope.
Well, I'm Tom Pappert.
I'm Craig Chrysler.
We're the Honest Media, and I hope you'll join us next week as we continue our coverage.